You try really hard to be productive. You write to-do lists. Maybe you even time block, have a beautiful Notion dashboard, and yet you don't feel like you get as much done as you could with the time that you have. In this video, I want to share my personal collection of time management mantras that save me at least 10 plus hours a week. These are actionable one-sentence mantras I say to myself all the time that help me to get more done so that I can enjoy my free time more. Number one, decide, don't slide. There is a mode, and I think of it as slide mode. It's so easy for anyone to enter it, but it's where you feel like you're kind of sliding through time. You might even be getting some stuff done, but it doesn't feel very intentional. And it's very easy if you enter slide mode to end your days thinking, why do I feel like I was doing stuff, but I still didn't get very much done? Enter decide, don't slide. One of the most high impact changes you can make if you're working on your time management skills is to just multiply the number of times that you decide what to do next in your days. The more micro decisions that you make in your day about what to do next, the more in charge of your time you're going to feel. And these micro decisions might look like you deciding to make a cup of tea, you deciding to scroll for 20 minutes, but almost everything feels more intentional when it's actually come from a decision. This one mantra, decide, don't slide, can change your weeks completely if you use it to make specific active choices. Choosing, okay, next I'm going to spend 20 minutes outlining a draft of that project is a specific, committed, active choice. Whereas, okay, next I'm gonna try work on that project, that's still in the sliding zone. Because what does try to work on that project mean? Decide, don't slide is about making more crisp, clear, specific choices about what to do next. And if you use this mantra even 3 times a day, when you catch yourself in slide mode, you say to yourself, decide, don't slide. What is the very specific thing that I'm going to do in the next 20 minutes? And you commit to that thing. Immediately you get 5 hours of your time back. And at first, you might suck at it. Using it might feel hard, but the more that you do it, the easier it gets. It is you making a conscious, deliberate choice, which uses your prefrontal cortex. But making a lot of tiny little choices will very quickly strengthen your ability to make more tiny little choices. Number 2, in Emily Nagoski's book, Come As You Are, she talks about how some people experience spontaneous desire. So they're on like a light switch, no effort required. But other people feel responsive desire. So desire only emerges after some time, after some build up. So they're more like a kettle or an oven. And she's talking about sex, which is such an important conversation. But desire to get stuff done can work in a really similar way because so many people are out there and think that they should just experience spontaneous desire to get stuff done. It is so common for people to think that they should just be motivated to do stuff. They should wake up, be a light switch, immediately on, immediately motivated. But for a lot of people, you might have more of a responsive desire. You are a kettle, you're an oven, you're not a light switch. Hence this next kind of mantra, which is, let's see how I feel after 10-15 minutes. So I used to do this as a way to trick myself, almost secretly being like, well, 15 minutes I know I'll have momentum, so then I'll just force myself to keep on going. But if you're truly dedicated to creating a good relationship with time, after 10-15 minutes, actually listen to yourself and be open to the idea that your mind really can change from I don't want to, I don't feel like it, to actually, yeah, I can keep working on this after just 10-15 minutes of you acclimating. But also, if after 10-15 minutes you're still like, ugh, no, then switch up. I've used this to go from feeling no motivation at all, convinced I'm going to have the slowest day, to having some of my most productive days. And it's all about the fact that motivation is not an on-off switch. It's also super subject to change. And sometimes if you want to increase your motivation, it takes just being open to the idea that your motivation can increase by dipping your toes in. Number 3, you've probably seen the advice around to ask yourself, how do I make this more fun if you want to get yourself to do things? And this is advice that I've shared because if you make things more fun, you're more likely to do it. But the more I used this idea, the less it seemed to work. Enter the next mantra. One of my go-to questions whenever I'm struggling to get something done, what do I hate about this? Sometimes when you're trying to get yourself to do stuff, it is at the end of the day boring and mundane. Washing the dishes and cleaning your car, you can only make it so fun that almost is a silly goal. So instead of making it fun, it's easier to sort of aim for neutrality. It's so much easier to get yourself to do stuff that feels kind of neutral versus stuff that you dread. For example, I used to dread vacuuming my car. If I asked, how could I make this more fun? I might have maybe added music, a podcast, whatever. But when I asked myself, what do I hate about this? I realized that it was in fact that I had a bad vacuum cleaner. It was really unsatisfying to clean my car. We got a better vacuum cleaner. Immediately Lately, I was more motivated to vacuum my car, and vacuuming my car wasn't more fun. It just no longer felt pointless. Sometimes, not always, figuring out what you hate about something and then solving for that is the best way to make it easier to do stuff. Number 4, one of the biggest lessons I've had to learn to create more time and motivation in my life is that feeling unmotivated isn't actually a big deal. The less you worry about being unmotivated, the more motivated you will be. Enter my next mantra: we don't flinch at our feelings. Imagine your feeling of, ugh, I'm just not motivated to do that task, or I just don't feel like doing anything. Imagine it's a literal person, a human being, in the room with you. If you notice that person and you go, they shouldn't be here, something is actually not okay about that person being here. Your awareness of that person immediately is going to grow and be the only thing to occupy your mind. Your awareness of that presence isn't going to go away because you're not going to let it go away. Feelings work in a really similar way. It's messed up. If you notice that you're feeling unmotivated and you go, that feeling is not supposed to be there, your brain is going to label that feeling immediately as a threat. And your brain is designed not to let a threat go, but it's also creating the threat. So then it's a weird inception situation where it's creating the threat and making sure that it stays aware of the threat, which then recreates the threat. Until you go, actually, that feeling's safe, it's no biggie, it can be here. Only then will it start to fade away. Hence, we don't flinch at our feelings. You feel unmotivated? No biggie, we don't flinch at our feelings. Feeling unmotivated happens, not a threat. Just an experience, it'll pass. The less you worry about feeling unmotivated, the more motivated you will be. And if you're interested in this, highly recommend my video, What You Resist Persists, What You Accept Transforms. I'll have it linked in the show notes or the description. Number 5, one of the weirdest things that I see get in the way for people that are trying to be more productive and do more with their time is actually stubbornness. And stubbornness looks like, that will never work for me. That idea will just never work for me, and that's easy for other people, but it could never be easy for me. Maybe that works for you, but it just wouldn't be helpful for me. I am saying this from a place of, it's kind of how I used to be. I got really attached to the idea that I would never get anything out of journaling. This is my current journal. I was wrong. I used to be really attached to the idea that I just couldn't be a tidier person, and now I keep it pretty tidy around here. And the list goes on. And I mean that to say that no one in the world is so special that things can't be better for them. No one is so unique that no advice will work for them. No one is so exceptional that they can't solve their problems, grow, change in positive ways. And to the next mantra, I'm open to that feeling possible for me. I'm open to that feeling easy for me. Whenever you get usually an involuntary reaction of, that's just not possible for me the way it is for them, or that just couldn't work for me, notice it and then counter it with, well, I'm open to that being possible for me. I'm open to that becoming easier for me. I'm not trying to say that things that work for other people or ideas other people share are always the perfect fit for you. But usually you benefit more from being open-minded than being stubbornly closed-minded about what's possible for you. Hence, I am open to that feeling easy for me, possible for me. Number 6, use this mid-scroll, mid-watch. Am I actually having a good time right now? Am I actually having fun? This is the simplest way to pull yourself out of a scroll, out of a bit of a binge watch, because most of the time, those things are fun for 20 minutes, maybe a little longer. But after that, you're there because you've been pulled in hook, line, and sinker, and you might not even really be paying attention or engaged in whatever it is that you're watching. But a little, is this actually fun for me, can snap you back to reality and get you out of the trap. Number 7, imagine waking up on a Sunday, you're in a funk and your thoughts spiraling about something you said to your boss yesterday, but you had planned a day of doing errands and favors for your future self. And now your brain is telling you, no, like we're in this funk, we are thought spiraling, we can't have a productive day today. My go-to mantra for those moments is, I'm going to do everything I can to do nothing with those thoughts. I used to really have this mindset of, okay, if I feel funky, if I am thought spiraling, I'm having a tough morning, I can let myself off the hook a little. Letting yourself off the hook one time is obviously so fine and everyone does it. And if you find that you're always letting yourself off the hook because of how you feel, it can turn into a kind of self-sabotage. Enter my next mantra, do everything that you can to do nothing with those thoughts, with those feelings. It's not, if you feel bad, suck it up. It's just, hey, you can feel bad and you can still care for yourself. One of my favorite analogies about thoughts is that some thoughts really are like mozzie bites The more you itch them, the worse they get. But if you leave them alone, you go hands off, they can fade on their own. And if I notice myself scratching, no worries, we'll go hands off again. I'll do everything I can to do nothing with my thoughts. If you liked this video, you will 100% enjoy my unusual guide to building self-discipline. It has comments like this and this, especially if you're on a journey to manage your time a little better, be more consistent. And if you feel like maybe typical self-discipline tips aren't that helpful for you, give that video a watch. I'm going to have it on the screen as well as in the show notes. I appreciate you so much, and I'll see you soon.